Hi guys, James at Rampant Lion Reviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to go back to China once again, and we've got the second of the two beers that my good friend Hung Wei gave to me, so a huge thank you to him once again for making this review possible. For this one we are going to go to his hometown and the capital city of China. We're going to go to Beijing and we're trying my first beer from NBeer Craft Brewery. So this one is their Beijing GOSE Modern, and it comes in at 4.5% ABV. Now we know that the GOSE is a style of beer from Germany, usually a little bit wheaty, a little bit salty, a little bit kind of lemony and sour if you like, but you know, it's very rare. I think this might actually be the first GOSE that I've tried from Asia actually, so that's another cool little point about this beer review. And as I've said, to be able to review some Chinese craft beers for you here on the channel is pretty special, so I hope you guys have enjoyed these two reviews that we've been able to do. So yeah, really looking forward to trying this one, and as always I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do from NBeer Craft Brewery the very first time I'm trying one of their beers, of course. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the home page and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. I will make one for the Chinese beers that I've reviewed for you, and hopefully I can add to that again in the fairly near future. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the NBeer Craft Brewery then, on to my brewery notes. So as I mentioned to you earlier, NBeer are based in Beijing, and they were founded back in 2013, and they're one of the earliest craft breweries in China actually. But the brewery was founded by Yinhai and Jinxing, and the two used to basically meet regularly and try lots of different types of beer together. But Yinhai had previously worked in the semiconductor industry, while Jinxing was a huge beer enthusiast. He was a beer collector, and he also designed the packaging for various different breweries as well. But Jinxing had actually written a book about the different styles of beer, and he'd collected around 8,000 bottles of beer from 70 different countries that he'd travelled to as part of a collection, and this is actually displayed in one of their bars that they have. But Yinhai is in charge of the production, and he was a home brewer for a while, and Jinxing actually encouraged him to turn professional, to basically turn his hobby that he had into being professional. I think Yinhai was working in Ireland actually, and that was where he was getting into his home brews. And then Jinxing actually encouraged them to leave his job and turn into a professional brewer. But this brewery has been fully licensed apparently since 2017, and they're starting to look at exporting their beers as well. They're doing a number of collaborations to build new ties in Europe, of course, and as of 2019 they've produced around 40 different types of beer. They've currently got 3 bars in Beijing. They've got one in Xiqing, one in Dashing, and also one in Haidan. And they've got another 3 beers in different cities as well. So this is Zhangzhou and Fuzhou in Fujian province, and they've also got one in Shenzhen in Guangdong province, which is very close to Hong Kong as well. So they've got 6 different bars. They all look pretty nice actually. If you have a little look at their website, you can see different pictures on them. They're very similar to what you might find in various different American craft breweries or European craft beer bars and things like that. But yeah, one of the really one of the more well-known Chinese craft beer breweries from what I gather. But if you look at rate beer for Shanghai and Beijing and Chengdu and places like that, there are little breweries popping up all across China. You know, when it's a country of about 1.7, 1.8 billion people, I forget the exact figure now, you know, you are going to get a good number of breweries popping up. So I think there's an exciting future for Chinese craft beer. So we'll just need to see how that pans out. But from what Hung Wei was telling me, quite a few of the breweries will only brew their beers on casks. It takes them a little while to be able to produce their beers in cans or in bottles and stuff like this. But I do hope that over the next couple of years we are able to review a couple of them for you here on the channel. But yeah, that's all you really need to know about the NBeer Craft Brewery just now. If you want to learn a little bit more, of course, you can check out the brewery website. We'll put that in the description below. Since it's a Chinese brewery and you have the Chinese internet firewall, you aren't going to be able to find these guys on Facebook or Instagram, but I will talk to Hung Wei and see if we can get you some of the Chinese social media to keep an eye on as well. But yeah, let's get on to the actual tasting of this beer itself then. So as I mentioned at the start of the video, this one is a 4.5% GOSE. And yeah, it says it's 51 IBUs and 4.5% ABV on the front of the can. We know the Gose style is one that originated from Goslar in Saxony in Germany, and it's known for being, you know, a little bit wheaty, a little bit kind of sour if you like, a little bit lemony, and even kind of salty actually. So the salt, sometimes they added this to the brew, but sometimes it was just down to the local water actually being a little bit salty. But yeah, a Gose coming in at 4.5%, the Beijing GOSE Modern. So yeah, it should be a really interesting one, this. So as you can see, nice artwork on this one. All the different beers that you get from this brewery essentially have the same artwork, it's just a different colour based on what type of beer it is. But there you can see that's the top of the can there. The Chinese cans are a little bit different. They're one of the ones where you pull away the top and that's it. But yeah, without further ado then, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting. I'm really curious to see what this one how this one turns out. This is the first Gose I think that I've had from Asia actually. I've reviewed a lot of Japanese beers because my partner, she is Japanese, so yeah, kind of interesting that. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we will get on with the tasting then. So yeah, that looks pretty nice actually, but nothing particularly surprising about this one in terms of its appearance when you consider it's a Gose. So for this one, it actually smells really fresh and sweet actually. So yeah, I wonder if there's a bit of Citra in here, to be honest. Just going by the aroma, I wonder if there's a little bit of a Citra hop coming out of this one. But as you can see, this beer's poured a lovely, bright, kind of hazy golden straw colour. You could see there was about a quarter finger of a frothy white head on this one as we brought it out the can. But yeah, if I put my fingers behind the glass, you can see this beer is pretty damn hazy. I mean, you would expect that from a Gose beer, and if I hold it up to the light, yeah, it's pretty much a bright yellow colour, this one, a bright yellow goldeny straw type colour, which is exactly what you would expect from a Gose. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of that head there, but you know, overall it looks pretty nice, but nothing particularly surprising about this beer when you consider that it is a Gose. You would expect this type of appearance from such a style of beer. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on here. Oh, now that smells really nice. There is a good bit of fruity quality to this one. I suspect they might have added a little bit of mango to this one. Maybe even a little touch of passion fruit or something. It almost smells a little bit lactosey. I think, yeah, that's a really nice aroma out of this beer. It's very, very fresh and very, very juicy and fruity actually. They've definitely added some fruit to this beer. That aroma that's in there is not simply from the hops, but yeah, there's a nice mango-y and passion fruit aroma. I'm more leaning towards saying it's mango rather than passion fruit because it's got that nice kind of juicy element to it actually. I'm pretty sure they've added a bit of mango to this beer. Underneath that though, you can smell a little bit of a wheaty quality to the beer, and it's got some nice kind of German noble hops in there, but I do think, I've got a feeling there is a little bit of Citra in there too. You can smell some of it. When I was particularly far away from the can, you could smell some of those nice fruity esters that you would expect of Citra. But it smells, this beer, to be honest with you, if I was blind smelling this beer, I would think that this is maybe like a, you know, a milkshake IPA, something like that. The aroma of this is, the aroma of this to me really leans towards the kind of milkshake IPA type thing. But it's a lovely aroma, this beer. If you get the chance to try this one, as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it. The fruity side of this beer is really, really nice. So, yeah, with this beer then, I really like the fruity side of this one. Mangoes, maybe a little touch of passion fruit, more leaning towards the mangoes in there. It does have this almost lactosey quality to it, which is interesting. You can pick up on a little bit of the saltiness in this one, but that's quite minimal. You've got a nice sort of wheaty, white bready base to this beer, maybe a little touch of a slightly woody note to this one as well, but that's very, very minimal. You've got some of the nice kind of German noble hop qualities in there as well, a light little bit of earthiness and a good bit of a floral aromaticity, but I do suspect there is a bit of Citra in here because it has got a little bit more of an American punch to it, if you like, rather than just being a straight up German noble hop quality. But yeah, that's it's a really nice smelling beer, this one. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it then. But let's have a taste of this beer. So this one is the Beijing GOSE Modern from NBeer Craft Brewery in Beijing in China. Once again, thank you to Hung Wei for making this review possible, and I hope you guys enjoy seeing another Chinese beer reviewed on the channel. Let's get stuck in. Slanja Ska Gambe. Yeah, that's pretty nice actually. So what I'll say about this beer is, this is one of these ones where it doesn't taste quite, you know, if you know the GOSE style, it does taste like a GOSE, but when you smell this beer, like I was saying, the perception I had of this one, it really smells more like a milkshake IPA or something like that, but it really does taste like quite a nice GOSE, but it definitely has this kind of lactosey quality to it as well, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, this is definitely an interesting beer. I mean, I've tried it. I actually can't remember when the last time I reviewed a GOSE was actually. I need to make an effort to review more of those on the channel because it has been a while actually. So with this beer, it's really interesting how this whole thing goes together. You've got this nice, smooth, wheaty quality that that just blankets the middle of your tongue. And that comes out more in the aftertaste. This beer really starts off a little bit sharp and then it smooths out and you start to get more and more of this wheatiness the further you go into the aftertaste. You can get some of the salty flavours coming out in the aftertaste as well, which is really quite nice. I like how everything goes together in this one. You've got this nice lemony sharpness towards the front of the palate, which is, you know, obviously due to the type of yeast or whatever that they're using in this beer. So yeah, when you take this beer in, it's got a nice little bit of sharpness. It's got a little bit of that lemony sharpness to it when you take it in. It's by no means as sharp as you're going to get from some of these sour beers that you would find in Belgium or from some of the modern craft breweries in America and Europe and stuff like that. It's nowhere near as sharp as that, but you do just get a little bit of that citricy sharpness out of this one on the impact as you take it in. But the beer smooths out very, very quickly and you get this lovely blend of a nice smooth white bready wheaty kind of quality, and also some of the salty notes coming out of there as well. You've got a little bit of a woody quality to this beer as well. If you just come further forward on the front sides of the palate, there is a little touch of a slightly woody flavour to this one, which is nice. The hops are very nicely done in this beer as well. I think there's definitely a mix of German noble hop in here. And I do suspect there's a bit of Citra as well actually. I think they have used Citra in this beer. It could actually be, they could have used Simcoe to be honest as well. There's something in my head that makes me want to say they've used Simcoe here just because of how kind of straight up the hoppy side of this beer is. But yeah, back corners of the palate, little touch of earthiness there. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue, you get a little bit more of a kind of floral aromaticity. And as you go round the very front curve of the palate, you've got a nice you've got a nice lighter grassiness to this beer as well. When you go behind the front curve of the palate, that's where these really interesting fruity juicy qualities start to come out of the beer. So to me as well, as you come further forward on the palate of this beer, there is definitely an element of a lactosey quality to this beer, but I think they've added mango to this one. And there's something in this beer that makes me want to say they've added a little bit of Simcoe. The choice would be between Citra and Simcoe, and Citra is a far more complex hop than Simcoe is, and to me the fruity notes on this beer are very straight up. You've got the mango there, and I think there's a little touch of the Simcoe kind of passion fruity type thing underneath there. I do think it's Simcoe that they've added to this beer rather than Citra. But yeah, it's really nice how everything goes together on this beer. You start off with that little bit of sharpness, that lemony sharpness like I was saying. It becomes juicy and it just rolls further back on your tongue. Then you start to feel the nice wheaty, white bready qualities pushing their way out of this one a little bit more. the middle of your palate smooths out. You start to get some of the saltiness now with this beer. The hops, the German noble hops, you get a little bit of that sweet earthiness there. Now the floral quality, now the grassiness, and then you can feel the lactosey note coming out of the beer. And then you get the mangoes and the passion fruits out of this one. And the further you go into the aftertaste, you can feel a little bit of the saltiness just pushing its way out of this one. And some of the grassy floral qualities start to come out of there as well. But you know, overall, this is a really quite nice beer, this one, and I like how everything is going together with this beer. It's a really nicely done goes of this. I need to actually get back into this style a little bit more, because I do remember really quite enjoying it. But you know, the GOSE and the Lichtenhainer is another name you can use for this style. It's a style that I haven't reviewed all that many of, and this one, I guess you could say, has made me kind of reappreciate it. Actually, I'll need to have a look at some of these GOSE beers from Germany. It'd be cool to review some of the original traditional German ones, because I absolutely love my German traditional beers. But yeah, I think these guys have done a really quite nice job of this beer. Again, as I said with my last Chinese review, and I say this with most of the Asian beers that I review, it does have this element of sessionability to it. So for this, let's focus on the mouthfeel of the beer now. This one for me, I would say, yeah, this beer, it has a little bit of a, I'd say it's mid-bodied, but it's at the lower end of mid-bodied. Carbonation is very smooth. It's a good blend between an oily and a wet mouthfeel. This one, it is a little bit oily compared to some of the other GOSEs I've had. Usually the GOSE is a little bit drier than this, but you know, we can forgive them for that. There's not really a problem with that. It's quite a nice, I actually like my beers to be a little bit more oily, to be honest with you. In terms of the malt base, it's a good balance between the smoothness of the malt base is quite nice. You do build a little bit of sweetness in there. Good little bit of hoppy bitterness as well to this one. I'm not sure if this is 50 IBUs actually. I wouldn't have guessed that. So if it is 50 IBUs, fair play to them. I would have guessed that this one was somewhere around the kind of 30 or 40 mark actually. But yeah, you've got a nice juicy fruity note to this one, a little bit of a kind of lactosey sweetness in there, and a little bit of a kind of sharp, a little touch of tartness in the beginning, but very, very minimal with that actually. But overall, this is a really quite nice GOSE. And it does make me curious about some of the other beers that these guys do. I'd love to try one of the Chinese IPAs and some of the stouts and things like that they're doing. So yeah, really interesting to try this one actually. The first two beers that I've tried from mainland China have been, you know, somewhat of more unusual styles, if you like. You know, it's been really cool to have a go at some of these beers. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this review. This has been a really nice beer to review, and thank you again to Hung Wei for making this review possible, and hopefully I can try a few more beers from NBeer and a couple of the other Chinese craft breweries. So if you are watching from China, or you are Chinese watching from somewhere else, do let me know in the comment section below some of the other Chinese breweries that I should be taking a look at, and hopefully I can try and get some of those for you and review them for you here on the channel. But yeah, this one was the, to give it its exact name, the Beijing GOSE Modern at 4.5% from NBeer in Beijing in China. Really cool to review another Chinese beer for you, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my take on this one. So once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from NBeer Beijing as well. And hopefully we can return to these guys in the near future. Make sure you check out my social media, and I will I will try and get more beers from these guys soon. Hopefully you will hear more from the channel as soon as well. Brain's not working at the end of this video, but thank you again for watching, and I will catch you guys soon. Until the next time, Slàinte just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Slàinte, Skull, Gambe.